The alleys of Novara Prime were merciless. Rainwater pooled between cracked tiles, neon signs flickered in the distance, and refuse from 1,000 species rotted in the gutters. Smugglers and slavers used this place as a dumping ground. When something was no longer useful, it was discarded like trash. Marcus Hale had seen plenty of horrors in his years as a hauler and mechanic, but the sound that stopped him that night was something different. It wasn't the usual cry of a stray animal. It wasn't the hiss of machinery or the groan of shifting pipes. It was a voice. Tiny.
Weak.
Desperate. Mom.
Yeah.
Marcus froze, turning his head toward the pile of trash stacked against a wall. Something shifted inside a filthy sack, barely moving. The voice came again, quieter, cracked with fear. Mom? Heart pounding, he pulled the sack open. Inside lay a child. Not human. Her skin was pale blue, mottled with bruises. Her eyes, large and luminous, like molten silver, blinked up at him with confusion and terror. Thin ridges ran along her scalp where hair might have been, and her small hands trembled as she reached toward him. Please, she whispered in broken standard. Don't leave me. Marcus swallowed hard. Slavers. He'd heard rumors that when an alien child was too weak or sick to sell, they dumped them here to die. And this girl, she couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Hell, Marcus muttered. Without thinking, he scooped her into his arms. She weighed almost nothing, her body shivering violently from cold and hunger. She buried her face into his chest and whispered one word, again and again. Mom. Mom. Marcus tightened his grip. Not your mom, kid. But I've got you now. The medbay aboard Marcus's old freighter, the Iron Song, wasn't much. A narrow bunk, some outdated scanners, a half-empty kit of antibiotics. But it was better than the alley. Marcus laid the girl down gently and set to work. He cleaned her cuts, gave her small sips of water, and wrapped her in blankets. She never fought him, never cried loudly, just clung to his hand as though letting go would mean death. What's your name? Marcus asked quietly once she was stable. Her silver eyes blinked up at him. Sorry. All right, sorry. You're safe here. Nobody's going to hurt you. She tried to smile, but exhaustion pulled her under. Over the next few days, Marcus learned more. Sari was Zyrenian, one of the fringe species barely acknowledged by the Dominion. Their children were sometimes trafficked because of their exotic appearance, but sickly ones like her were considered worthless. She spoke little, but when she did, her words cut deep. They put me in the sack because I couldn't breathe right. Said I was broken. Marcus clenched his fists. You're not broken. They're monsters. Her gaze lifted to his, cautious and searching. Why did you pick me up? He hesitated, then said the only truth he knew. Because no one deserves to die alone in the dark. Especially not a kid. At first, Marcus thought he'd take Sari to an orphanage on a safer colony. But when he mentioned it, she clung to his shirt with surprising strength. No, she pleaded. Don't send me away. Please. Her voice cracked. I'll be good. I can help. I'll cook. I'll clean. Sorry. Marcus knelt, steadying her trembling hands. You don't have to earn the right to stay. If you want to be here, then this ship is your home. Got it? Her eyes widened. Slowly, she nodded. From that day forward, she stayed. Life aboard the Iron Song changed. Sari followed Marcus everywhere. At first, she was fragile, her breath shallow, but the fresh air recyclers and good food soon brought color back to her skin. She learned how to hold a wrench, how to patch a cable, how to laugh when Marcus burned dinner. One night, as they sat in the galley, Sari whispered, I thought humans were scary. That's what they told me. But you're not. Marcus chuckled. Humans can be scary. We're stubborn as hell. But we look after our own. She tilted her head. Am I your own? For a moment, Marcus couldn't answer. Then he reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Yeah, kid. You are. But safety was never permanent on the frontier. One cycle, while hauling cargo through the Rhine Belt, they were intercepted. A slaver ship, the same kind that had once carried Sari. When the slaver captain saw her on Marcus's deck, he sneered. That's property, human. Stolen property. Hand her over, and maybe we'll let you keep your ship. Sari's hand slipped into Marcus's, trembling. Marcus stepped forward, placing himself between her and the slavers. She's not property. She's my daughter. The captain laughed cruelly. A human raising a Zyrenian brat? Pathetic. Maybe, Marcus said, his voice steady. But pathetic doesn't mean weak. With that, he slammed the console, activating hidden turrets he'd installed years ago. The Iron Song roared to life, weapons blazing. The slaver ship staggered under the assault, shields cracking. Marcus maneuvered with precision born from decades in the trade lanes, outthinking and outgunning men who thought him just another hauler. When it was over, the slaver ship limped away, and the silence of space returned. Sari stared at him, wide-eyed. You fought them for me. Marcus ruffled her ridged scalp gently. Always. Nobody's taking you from me. Not ever. Years passed. Sari grew stronger, her once fragile lungs adapting in the clean environment of the Iron Song. She grew tall, her silver eyes bright with curiosity, her hands deft with tools. She became Marcus's co-pilot, his apprentice, his daughter, in every way that mattered. They traveled the frontier, delivering goods, repairing ships, and leaving behind whispers of a human and the alien girl who had built a family out of nothing. One evening, as they watched a colony sunset from the ship's viewport, Sari leaned against him. Do you ever regret it? She asked softly. Finding me in that sack. Taking me with you. Marcus swallowed hard, emotion tightening his throat. Not for a second. You saved me, Sari. I thought I was just drifting through life. Then you gave me a reason to fight again. Her eyes shimmered. You're more than just not scary. You're the best dad in the stars. He chuckled, pulling her close. And you're the best daughter I could have asked for. In the end, the galaxy forgot about the sack in the alley. But Marcus never did. He never forgot the tiny voice that had said one word, Mom, and cracked his heart open wide enough to let love back in. And Sari never forgot the human who had heard her cry, who had lifted her out of darkness and given her not just life, but a family. Because sometimes humanity's greatest power wasn't strength or technology or ambition. It was the simple refusal to walk away from a voice calling for help.